Hello, everyone. It's Pat with our Oracle card reading and message for this upcoming week. Today is the 20th of January. So this will be going right through to next weekend, the 27th. So, gosh, we're 3/4 of the way through January. So today, we have astrologically, we have a full moon. It's a super full moon, like a super full blood moon, and a lunar eclipse. So there's a lot of celestial energy, a lot of powerful energy around these types of celestial events. And tomorrow, of course, we have Martin Luther King Day, our national holiday. So I hope this finds you well. And know that with this full moon eclipse, super full moon event, that it can be, an emotional time. Super full moons with eclipses and things like that can be a time when that brings power. Well, full moons anyways can be a time of endings and beginnings. Okay, we've gotten that message many times before in readings when there's a full moon around. But when it's like a super full moon and an eclipse along with it, they can be very abrupt endings, like endings of long-standing patterns or relationships. People can get eclipsed out of your life. It's just they can, if you've had a long-standing pattern of, say, smoking or something like that, that you've maybe tried to kick many times, an event like this can bring about the kind of energy that can be like, you know what, I'm just done with this. So, and you move on from it and you go forward and you don't look back. So just know that it's that kind of energy. It's good for resolutions that you've had. If you've had a little bit of trouble kickstarting them for the new year. And I understand from the people that I listen to, the planet Uranus is like conjuncting this somehow. I'm not sure. I'm not up on all that, full astrological terms of everything. I just kind of listen and get the gist of it is what I do and pass it along to you because I know it affects the energies of the week. But Uranus is the planet of surprise. So it can bring along unexpected things, unexpected events. Not necessarily bad things. This isn't like a doom and gloom kind of energy or anything like that. It's just, it can be very, a pleasant, unexpected event. So, as well as something that, kind of throws a curveball in your week that you really, oh shit, that kind of thing. So just know that these kind of energies are around right now. And it's working in our favor. It's definitely working for our best and highest good. So, but it is a time to kind of go with the flow of those energies. So anyways, I'm going to start by calling on the Archangel that's working with us this week. Now, last week we had Jophiel with Clear Your Space. Definitely felt that energy around. I was clearing out stuff, clearing out my own financial clutter, as I mentioned last week. And anyways, that energy was definitely with me, with clearing my space. So, anyways, let's see who's overseeing us for this coming week. I call upon the archangels for whoever's watching over us for this week. I feel Shamuel around a little bit, but we get two others that have popped out here. All right, so the first one that came out was this one with Sandalphon, Victory. So he says, your prayers have been heard and answered. Have faith. Okay, so something you've been hoping for is going to turn out for you. This is the victory card. It needs no other explanation. You're going to be victorious. All right. Victory is at hand. Okay, so, and I think, as I mentioned, at the end of, this will be interesting to see how this transpires this week, because at the end of last week, I know I mentioned, because we got that card from the fairies that says your desire is within reach. And I felt like maybe perhaps on the level of our country, the United States, that we might be seeing the beginning of, something that's going to look like our government shutdown ending. And so maybe that's perhaps what this is heralding this week, victory, that finally comes to an end. Because I think I mentioned my guide Simon told me that on or around the 26th of January, he saw that's what he told me. I know there's other intuitives who have got different, feelings and readings about that. So it all remains to be seen, really, how it all turns out. Because, we can all sometimes be wrong. But I'm hoping that's what this victory card means for the week. But, at a personal level for you, it means something that's is gonna be successful. Something that you've put out there to the world, or something that you're hoping for is coming to fruition. And that's always a good message to get, right? Who doesn't like to hear that? The other message we get is from Raphael with this message of breathe. And it says, take several deep breaths, exhale slowly to awaken your energy and release old patterns. So, Raphael's a healing angel. And he, this card brings a message of, I feel like it brings a message of relief. So it kind of goes hand in hand. If, the victory is ours and we're going to see the government come back into, open up again, people get back to work, then everybody's going to be breathing a sigh of relief. But it's also a message of how to work through any kind of difficult situations that you might encounter, or if there's fears coming up for you this week. If you're stepping forward, allowing your light to shine, what have you, sometimes that can be a little unnerving. And his message is to breathe your way through it, okay? To help you release old patterns. If you notice yourself getting tense or nervous, or stuff bubbling up, because that's not uncommon when we have this full moon eclipse thing going on. Breathe your way through it. As you notice yourself, fretting about it, or getting angry about something that may have happened in the past, or worrying about something that may be in the future, just take a moment and take a deep breath, okay? And be willing to release it. Turn it over to spirit. Let, the spiritual team that we all have help you work through it, okay? So, let's see. So this can also come up sometimes when people have been having, breathing issues. Call on Raphael for help with whatever breathing issues that you may be having, okay? Sandalphon is an angel of he's considered to be the deliverer and answerer of prayers. But he also oversees, he's a very musical angel. He helps to bring music that's very calming and soothing. He has a very soothing quality to him. So, but when we're looking to see if there's, the signs that something we've been praying for is coming true, or coming to us, coming to fruition, a lot of times this card will show up. So as his way of sending you that message that yes, okay? So yay for that. That's a good way to start off the week. All right, let's move on to our next cards. Going for the next card deck. I realized in the bottom of the box of the Archangel card deck, there was a card stuck there. So I pulled it out, and I just felt like I wanted to share it because, my intention was called to it. So, and it's the card of peace. Archangel Chamuel, who I mentioned at the beginning of the reading, that I felt like he was around. It says, peace comes from remembering that only love is real. And sometimes during turbulent times, like what we are in now, okay, it takes an effort for all of us to focus on peace. Peace within our bodies, within our hearts, and in our world, okay? We all know that our thoughts matter. Thoughts and emotions can attract things to us and, make a difference in how we get through our day and our week and our world, okay? So when you focus on peace, that's what you're radiating out, and you tend to draw to you more peaceful experiences. And it brings blessings and benefits to everyone around you. Okay, so these are great cards to get: victory, breathe, and peace in this upcoming week. Okay, and I'll even look at what's written in the book about this card, because I feel like it's probably an important message for people out there. It says, look past the surface of the situation and see the underlying truth that everyone involved is a child of God filled with love. By focusing upon this truth, you elicit loving behavior and solutions. Even though appearances can often seem otherwise, trust that a higher wisdom is in charge. Love is the only power that exists, and its light shines away any seeming darkness. Hold the intention to look for examples of this light within yourself and others. And you'll have more light in your mind, heart, thoughts, and life. This knowledge is the foundation of peace. And, peace is something that needs to be cultivated. It's not something you obtain from something outside of yourself. You cultivate it. You grow it from within by focusing on it and, saying those mantras and things like that. So anyways, all right. I wanted to work with the, let's see, the goddess energy for this week. And let's see what their message is for us. And I pulled out an Earth Magic deck. Goddesses, what do you wish us to know? Just with this moon, I always think of moon energy connected to goddesses. So, okay. Get a couple of those. Oh, all right. All right. So at the beginning here, we have this God of Reflections. And it says, the qualities you see in others are simply your own reflection. Which is always an interesting message to get. And sometimes you might be like, what the hell does that mean? What if I can't stand the person next to me or that I have to work with? So it's a theme that works on both sides of things. When you see qualities in other people that you admire, it's a reminder that they're a reflection of your own. Okay. And yes, sometimes when you see qualities that you don't like in other people, there's something that, in some way, there may be an aspect of it that you reflect as well. So the God of Reflections it just signals at the beginning of the week, you may be kind of looking and examining that. All right. You might be looking at how you give your power to other people and situations. When you look at other people and think that they're somehow better than you in some way, or if you do that. So it's time to let go of those kind of beliefs. It's like the whole point of when we have this super full moon is that it shines so brightly. This is one of those moons that if you were able to see it, like if the cloud cover wasn't around from this recent storm that's kind of gone through the United States, it would be one of those big, gorgeous, beautiful moons that really shines. And so it amplifies our ability, or urges us, it amps up the energy for us to step out and shine. Okay, so it's a reflection of that in a way. Okay, so just know that as you admire wonderful qualities in other people, admire them in yourself as well. Okay, and that can open the door to blessings and abundance coming your way. All right. So there's a lot, and it's not uncommon when we have, again, celestial events like this. And of course, in the United States, Martin Luther King Day is tomorrow. So it is a time of reflection, especially because he's a leader, Martin Luther King. So we often, as we celebrate holidays like this, we reflect upon the qualities of people who we consider to be true leaders. And, this card is a reminder not to necessarily think of them as better than ourselves, but to look for where we have those qualities in ourselves. Because if we admire it in them, there's an element of it in us. Okay. So the beginning of the week holds a lot of reflection around that. And this full moon energy is urging you in some way to step out in your own way and shine. Okay. And not to make yourself small to fit in, and being a part of another group of people. Okay. Have the courage to step out there. So another card that came out was this one, Angel of Prayer, and it's a reminder that ask the universe and the angels for help and guidance. Okay, prayer always works, and I mean our prayers sometimes get answered in a way that's different than what we had maybe have hoped or thought it would be, but they always do bring about resolution in some way and help us to move forward. Okay, so but I do feel like there's a lot of people who are, praying for the resolution to, this issue that we have here in this country, and, for many people around the world, because there's a lot of people who have a lot of places outside of this country. I mean, we've had a big storm go through recently. California's had severe rains that are causing mudslides. But there's also other places in the world that have been suffering some really horrific weather patterns that are highly unusual for them. So it's about, praying for the people of the earth. We are all out there thinking about you. It's about praying for the people, that are suffering. That's what I feel like. This is obviously going into the beginning of the week as we're reflecting about what's taking place in our world, and former world leaders that we admire. We're also praying. Martin Luther King was a big advocate, I'm sure, of prayer, and so we're praying for the people in the world who are suffering right now and who are in need of that help. Okay, so we have the Goddess of Exploration who's come out. Okay, as we get towards the end of our week. A wondrous time of exploration, romance, and creativity. So, as the card suggests, I mean, look at, it's got the star on it, like that, bright, just kind of like the bright full moon, the way it shines its light. And its rays are going into the woman here, who is brazenly without, kind of open and vulnerable there. But she's absorbing all these rays of inspiration. Okay, so, and that's what that card is heralding. As we get to the end of the week, you might have a lot of inspirational ideas. Life is going to feel a little grander, more romantic again, especially as Sandalphon pointed out, as you have victory, as your prayers come to fruition. Let's see, the Goddess of Awakening. It's about your creativity getting out there and getting nourished. A lot of creative ideas coming in. Okay, it could also mean that there's a new romance if you're a single person, or sometimes even when you're not. There can be a new romance that blossoms for you. And so, or, feeling romantic about your life in the world. Okay, so there's new, it sort of feels like excitement to me, creativity and excitement, inspiration that comes in towards the end of the week. And we also got this one, the God of the Underworld. Okay, something which no longer serves you is about to end. Okay, remember what I said at the beginning of the reading with this, with these full moon energies, that there can be things that no longer serve you anymore that come to an abrupt end. Long-standing patterns that aren't serving you that come to an end. So this is, card is just, again, heralding and repeating that. So, it's not something to be worried about. And yes, it may in fact feel like, depending on what it is, it could in fact feel like a loss to you. But it's one that sometimes there are things that need to fall away in order for us to move forward. Okay. And so the angels, God and the angels urge you to have kind of faith and trust in that. It's, kind of like a parent taking away a toy or something from a child that it could potentially harm itself with. All right. Um, it in some ways it's like this card is kind of um, remember I was talking about the planet Uranus where you know it can be a surprise ending to something or an abrupt ending to something. Um, this card, in a way, signals a death, but it has more to do with the death of a belief system. Okay, um, a way of thinking that doesn't serve you, as I said. Okay, um, emotional patterns usually, especially where it's regarding the moon. So just be prepared for that. For some of you, it, it can mean the end of a relationship. It can mean the end of a job. It could mean that you, like said, after years of trying, you just suddenly stop smoking, you put it down, smoking or drinking or some bad habit, you just put it down and you're done with it and walk away from it and never look back. All right. It's that kind of energy that's around. It's dying to something that doesn't serve you. And that comes in around the weekend. Okay, so those are those card messages. Let's see. So there's some change and transformation going on this week. All right, so I haven't used the Earth Magic cards in a while, and I was doing these for a little bit at a point in time to get some tuning into Mother Earth and what was going on with her, and what we need to know about. Full moon flipped out of the deck. Completion. And it's a reminder that that's what, when I said full moon's about endings and beginnings, it's because they bring things, certain cycles to completion. It can signal the beginning of a whole new chapter in your life, okay? Because something that no longer serves you, or some part of your life, and a chapter of your life is coming to an end. And because you're complete with it, okay? So that's the first one that flipped out right at the beginning. Woo! Jeez. Okay. So full moon energies are very powerful on, there's a lot of noise that's about to be outside because in the midst of this winter storm, the truck has finally now come by again to sand the driveway so I can get out. I tried 2 or 3 times this morning to get out of my driveway or out of the parking area that I have, and it didn't work. I just kept sliding back down. Anyways, so full moons affect, at least from, I know I picked from these cards to get an idea of what's going on with the earth, okay? So full moons affect the waters, all right? And the next card that flipped out was tsunami, wake up call. So, I mean, this could literally mean a tsunami. Another tsunami is taking place. I know there is an Earth-facing coronal hole right now, so there's a increased earthquake watch going on, and earthquakes can trigger tsunamis. So if you live in a coastal area, be prepared. It's just a good time in general right now because of all the Earth-related events to be prepared no matter where you live. For if you have to up and go in a hurry, if evacuation orders have been issued, or for whatever reason, anyways. So, but, so there's more stuff with the waters going on with the earth this week, okay? And I feel like it's a combination of the full moon and the solar energies that are coming at us right now, but it's bringing about rebirth. Okay, so, and this is in alignment with the card that we got from the goddesses, this one, something is about to die, a way of thinking, a way of believing. Okay, rebirth, death and rebirth, it's all part of the cycles of the earth. Okay, so and that rebirth, I just get there's new land masses coming up, okay? Which I know that's been happening to some degree already, okay? As, plate shift and underground underground. I'm not getting the proper name for it. When you have that continental area underneath the water that shifts and it creates the tsunami. It also sometimes there's also sometimes other land masses that come up from the middle of the water, and I do feel like that's a part of what's happening there. Rebirth. Anyway, so those are some of the messages that I get for this week. Okay. I want to see if there's anything else that I get from this card, I guess, as I look at it. There's so many animals on it. And, you know, it's got the rabbit, the butterfly. She's got the vines growing out of her hair, roots. And I sort of feel like we need to pay attention to the animals and their behaviors. I know there's some people who are really good at that when they watch the animals or when they see the animals behaving differently. Or unusually, they know it signals something. Okay, so there's an owl in that picture too. So anyways, it's a pretty powerful week ahead of us. So take heart and hang in there. You know, you can be the calm in the storm, but at the same time, you want to go with the flow because these are very transformational energies. You know, the earth is going through its own shift and humanity is going through a shift in its consciousness as well. And it's not always, you know, an easy thing to go through. Just kind of like when kids, you know, they go from being little kids and their bodies develop into teenagers, into adults. It's a time of a lot of emotional and physical change for them. And that's what we are going through as well. So anyways, those are the messages that I get for this coming week. As always, I invite you to, you know, like the video, subscribe. Thank you all so much for the lovely comments that you leave. I really do appreciate them. And thank you so much for your viewership. And I look forward to speaking with you again very soon. Take care, everyone.